of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for all coming, and I ask if you can put your phones on silent, so it doesn't interfere with the internet. The first order of business is a public hearing. First order of business was public hearing. First order of business is not a public hearing. First order of business is swearing in of John Plenchett to the new beyond the board of on the town council. First order of business is not so.
Muted. He's working on it, so.
Thank you.
Okay, for now, I'm standing in for the solicitor. I'm actually raise your right hand and that's me. I state your name.
I, John Blanchard,
He proudly swear
do proudly swear
to carry out the responsibilities of the office of town councilman
to carry out the duties of town councilman
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
freely acknowledging
really acknowledge
that the powers of this office
that the powers of this office
flow from the people I am privileged to represent.
flow from people I'm privileged to represent.
I further swear
I further swear
always to place the public interest
always to place the public interest
above any special or personal interest,
above any special or personal interest,
and to respect the right
and to respect the right
of future generations
of future generations
to share the rich, historic,
to share the rich and historic
and natural heritage of Delaware.
natural heritage of Delaware.
In doing so,
In doing so,
I will always uphold and defend the constitutions
I always uphold and defend the constitutions
of my country and my state,
of my country and my state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Is it fixed? All right, now we'll go to the first order of business, the public hearing. It's the first hearing of an ordinance to amend the zoning district designation for the lands of SMC Enterprises LLC from R1 single-family residence to R2 1 and 2 family residential district for a certain parcel of land containing 24,916 square feet, identified as county map tax map parcel 134-12.00-386.00 32,451 Windmill Drive. Then do you want to start us off?
Yes, I'm going to back up to our planning and zoning meeting on the matter from November 17th, 2025, in which application P360 was a local rezoning request submitted by the property owner to amend the zoning of lands of SMC Enterprises LAC, aka tax parcel number 134-12.00-386.00 from R1 single family residential to R2 1 and 2 family residential. The zoning of R1 was set for this parcel upon annexation into town on September the 3rd, 2002. The department had the following comments at the planning and zoning meeting on November the 17th, 2025. Number one, the property consists of 0.572 acres with approximately 210 feet of frontage along Windmill Road. The maximum number of dwelling units that the current zoning will support is one single-family dwelling. The maximum number of dwelling units that the proposed zoning will support is two single-family dwelling or two semi-detached or duplex units. The parcel is bound on three sides by the residential planning community zoning within town limits. The parcel is across the street from the community of Bishop's Landing, which is outside of town boundaries in the town of Millville. Bishop's Landing is comprised of a combination of single-family, townhouse, and condominium units. Parcel is shown on the future land use map within the comprehensive plan of 2020 as planned community, which would support a mix of residential unit types. Should the rezoning ordinance be adopted, any future subdivision or development of the parcel will require development plan review through the town's Office of Planning and Zoning. There were public comments at the meeting. Mark Sewick of Brighton Street, president of Avon Park HOA, stated he is concerned about the pond and water runoff and what the impact would be on the pipe. He would like to see the zoning remain at R1. Ms. Ann Oberste of Millville said a shorter home would be okay. Ms. Wendy Keenan of Brighton Street stated that she is concerned about someone who buys the homes that use Avon Park property. She is against the change. Ms. Mary Beth Rapp of Brighton Street stated she was against the R2 because of the height concerns. Ms. Megan Evans of Avon Park stated she was against R2. The public comment was closed. Following the close of the public comment, a vote was made. A motion was made by Mr. Little, who is the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and seconded by Mr. Sigvarsson to approve the change to R2. Mr. Nicholson, nay, due to overcrowding concerns. Mr. Sigvarsson, yes, can't see any difference. Ms. Denoto, nay, concerned about aesthetic continuity. Mr. Little, yes, can't see any difference. And Mr. Malley, nay, negative impact on the community. The motion failed by a vote of 3-2.
Okay, thank you. Or ask the public for comment. Are there any comments or questions by anyone on the council?
Yes,
Yeah, yes, okay,
yes, they can, right?
yes.
So, question, the setback regardless of zone 1 and zone 2 for the stated property that's going to be built would be 30-foot setback? That wouldn't change?
So the rear yard setback.
The rear yard, excuse me, yeah.
Will remain at 30 feet. The side yard setback will be reduced from 15 feet to 10 feet. And the front yard setback will remain the same at 25 feet.
Height restriction is still the standard, what's it, 42?
The height restriction is the same in both R1 and R2
R2.
zone at 42 feet. And a number of 3 stories.
Now, the other thing I didn't hear on either thought process from the builder is any landscaping, any buffers, any of that. I didn't see anything in the planning on that. Is anything?
Per the town code, residential development does not owe any screening against other residential dwelling units. Unlike a commercial development against residential. If a natural screen is a priority to the neighboring residents, it could be added as a condition to this ordinance, should the property be rezoned to R2. If it remains R1, there is no mechanism in our code to require any screening.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the town council?
No.
At this time, if there's any comments, someone would like to make a comment or ask a question, please come to the podium. State your name and your address, please.
My name is Sean Cummings, and I am the developer on the property. I just wanted to say that, you know, of the 25 square feet, 25,000 square feet that are on the property. Typically, when we're building homes, it's 4,000 to 5,000 square foot for a house. So it is 5 times larger than your typical lot size. I know I was transparent last time when they asked me what my intention was to do with it, and I did say I was going to sell it or keep one as a rental property. And I know that doesn't sound good from everybody else that, oh, he's just trying to buy this property and flip it and sell it and take the dollar off of it. But I did grow up around this area. You know, I love this area. I try to make this area more beautiful every day. I think that the structure that we're going to put up will in fact improve property values around the area. And we pride ourselves on putting out a quality product. If we're going to put our name on it, it's going to be nice. I know people are concerned with aesthetically how it would look, but it is surrounded by semi-detached structures on all sides. So I think it would blend well with the space.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna Oberste. I live at 30023 Seashore Park Drive in Bishop's Landing. My property faces the property that we're talking about. I just wanted to ask, we keep saying how large this property is. Does that include the water section in this property? There's a little lake or whatever you want to call there.
That pond is part of the Avon Park community.
But is it part of this property or is it?
No, it's not part of
it's-
the property, it's
okay.
adjacent to the property.
So I live in a standalone home, as my whole street is standalone home. So it's not surrounded on all sides by semi-detached. And our homes are all single story in that area. So putting up almost a 3-story building directly behind us, it will loom across our horizon. So it will be very impactful to everyone on our street. So I just want to keep that in mind. If it's a 1 to like 1.5 story house, then it will fit right in there. It will look really nice, but I'm just concerned that we're putting a very tall building right next to a whole bunch of homes that are not that tall. So that was my biggest concern. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to come back up?
So this is the survey, if you would like to see it, I don't put the pond as a reference on here, but we can see exactly how many feet the property line is from the pond. And I know a lot of people are concerned with the height of it. I'm not sure where they keep thinking there's gonna be this large building there, but we haven't even designed anything yet, but it won't be any taller than the houses that's surrounded by it.
So
Good question. Yeah,
So-
yeah, so can an addendum be put in there about the height? If it's approved?
No, the max height in R2 is 42 feet.
Right.
But from what I'm hearing from Mr. Cummings is he doesn't anticipate building a structure that is any taller than the existing structures in Avon Park, which are just 2-story structures.
Yeah. That's correct.
Correct.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions, comments? All right, and I think the session is closed.
This is the first
First reading, no
first
vote.
reading and
No.
public hearing, so there'll be a second reading and public hearing at the next meeting of council.
Okay, moving on, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. I understand there might be some changes to the agenda.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to request that mayor and council move items 7G and 7H up to occur before 7B. Doing so will allow our consultants who are going to participate for one of the well, actually, for both items possibly, to be able to, for us to cut them loose before making them wait through the whole meeting. So if you're so inclined, if someone would like to make a motion to that effect, that
I
would be great.
move to move the agenda items around so the consultants don't have to do the whole meeting.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, well.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are
Thank
there any
you.
other changes, proposed changes? No, okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes of December 9 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular minutes from the December 9th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Communication presentations to CWAC veteran. Where is that?
Should be the first thing you do.
Okay, yeah, I received a copy of this, from Mr. Seawack. And it's, heartfelt thanks for that tax ditch renovation. On behalf of the Avon Park Board of Directors and our residents, we wish to extend our deepest gratitude for the recent tax ditch renovation completed in our community. This critical project has greatly enhanced the safety of two homes that were in risk of structural damage due to the proximity to the tax ditch. We are especially thankful to Ken Semino, Planning, Zoning, and Development Director, whose tireless efforts and unwavering commitment were key to advancing this important project. Ken's dedication, guidance, and advocacy ensured that this substantial and complex undertaking was completed successfully, safeguarding both the homes directly affected and the overall integrity of our development. The impact of the work goes far beyond the immediate safety improvements. It demonstrates a genuine care for the residents and the long-term well-being of our community. Residents of Avon Park now feel a renewed sense of security and pride in their neighborhood and knowing that their safety and property are protected thanks to this leadership. Please accept our sincerest thanks for your dedication, hard work, and thoughtful attention to this matter. Avon Park is fortunate to have such committed officials advocating for its safety and improvement, and we are truly grateful for the positive difference you have made in our community. Thank you.
Good job.
Well, thank you. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that I'm just one part of the two-headed construction monster. I think we need to recognize our construction engineer, Nick Nussbaum, as well as Nick's out in the field making sure these things get done timely, on budget, at one time, and safe. So thank you, Nick.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the reports, the financial report, Fox.
Okay, before you, you have your monthly financial update as of December 31st of 2025. We have collected little over 99% of our current year's taxes. So that's going well. Going to our balances of our reserve and committed funds. Our emergency reserve trust has a balance of $1,263,995. The capital replacement trust has a balance of $1,446,339. The street repair replacement trust has a balance of $1,297,628. Onto our emergency services enhancement funding, the ESIF program. As of the end of December, it's based on 53 new home construction permits. We budgeted for 68, so we are right where we should be going into winter and then spring when it's going to pick back up. The balance in the ESIF program is $1,179,245. Our transfer taxes as of the end of December were 44% from new construction, which is 35 new construction home sales.
8.6% from land sales or 47 sales. And 47.4% of resales of existing homes, which comes out to be 74 resale. Behind the financial statements are their recaps on pages 3 and 4 followed by the analytics on page 5 and 6. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to respond.
Thank you, Don. Any questions or comments for Don? No, thank you. Moving on to the public safety report.
Yes, Mayor, I'll try to make this brief, so we're gonna talk, a little bit later about, some of the, recommendation from the, IACP study. But the volunteer unit logged 140 hours, of service in December, 2025. They continue to do a outstanding job. Manning the reception desk, at the police department, running all kinds of errands. We have two officers, two volunteers that are trained also to, repair and clean our, firearms. They do an excellent, job with that. So thank you to our volunteers. Another great year. You have a list of some of the training that was done, over the past month. Some miscellaneous items, we participated in the Southeast Sussex Ministerial meeting. That's a meeting, of a group, of local churches, and the Ocean View Police Department. So we've been participating with them for a number of years now. Continue to provide, assistance, to the community. The staff assisted with holiday parade events in the town of Milton, Rehoboth, Seaford, and Georgetown. Staff assisted with the town holiday and tree lighting event review. We applied for $13,852.54 to the Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund. That's a state level grant, and we received that funding. That's going to allow us to upgrade some of our firearms training equipment. You have a copy of the stats for December. At the next meeting, I will provide you with a end of year report that will include all of our activity throughout the course of 2025. I also want to point out that something we've been working on now for about a year is our a wellness program. One of the big issues facing law enforcement today deals with mental health issues and wellness, both physical and mental and emotional. And we have worked out an agreement and signed a MOU with a company called Cortico, which is a subsidiary of Lexipol, which is our policy platform that we currently use. And that's going to be a wellness app and platform for wellness for the officers that they will have available to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's being paid for through two different funding sources. One, a one-time legislative appropriation obtained through the State General Assembly by Representative Harris. And then that'll cover 1 year, and then 2 years are going to be covered by the Delaware Office of Management and Budget out of the state's general fund. There will be no cost or financial obligation to the town of Ocean View for participating in that program. With that, I'll be happy to entertain any questions that the council needs.
Well, I think there's one thing we forgot. The town of Ocean View has again been awarded the safest small town in Delaware. For the
Yeah,
eighth
I'll be honest.
year in a row.
Yeah, 8, 9 years in a row now. We've always been consistently ranked as one of the safest, depending on, what outfit's doing the ranking, and who they're comparing. Some of the different, studies out there include different, towns with different population levels. some of those ocean views included, some were excluded due to us having too little or too many folks. But we have been ranked again in 2026 as number one by a lot of those different outfits, and we're proud of that.
Well,
It's a
congratulations.
trend that will continue.
Congratulations, Chief. Done a
Great job, Chief.
Great job.
Any other questions for Chief?
Yes, one, just for my curiosity only, welfare checks, 430, is that going up every year, you think, or?
Yeah, that's,
that
well, if, I'll give you the lowdown on that at the next meeting when we're comparing, we're doing a little bit deeper dive into the stats, but, you know, we get an awful, you know, we have an aging
Right,
population
that's what I
here.
was thinking,
We
yeah.
have a lot of seniors, I think people really don't know how many folks that we have that live alone in Ocean View. And, many of those people that, we develop long-term relationships with. There's many of those folks that the only people outside of their home that they have contact with on a daily basis are members of the Ocean View Police Department. So, that's just an ongoing initiative and,
Yep.
it
Yeah, I
does
was curious if
fluctuate.
that number is because of age is just rising every year, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to planning, zoning and development, Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Got a couple of items here that fall into MAP's purview, maintenance of operations. Invitation for bids were placed in 2 print publications and on our website on Monday, January 12th, 2026. For contract OV PZ&D 2605, Woodland Avenue sidewalks, Hudson Avenue to Betts Avenue. This is the final phase of sidewalks along Woodland Avenue, and this will complete our connectivity efforts from State Route 26 to the Ashwoman Canal. Requests for proposals were placed in 2 print publications and on our website on Monday, January 12th, 2026, seeking 2 construction firms for contract OV PZ&D 2607 municipal maintenance services. An invitation for bids were placed in 2 print publications and on our website on Monday, January 12th, 2026 for OV PZ&D 2608. This is our FY 2026 street paving. This project will include the milling and paving of Hudson Avenue, Tingle Street, and Longview Drive. Land use and development, Shore Vista community. Site contractors left the site idle for many weeks, resulting in numerous violations identified by the Sussex Conservation District. The town of Ocean View has fined the developer initial fine for the first day of the violation, and fines continue to accrue at $100 a day until the DRB group completes clearing these violations and brings the project back into compliance. Our staff, myself, our town engineer, and our town construction engineer are meeting with the president of DRB on Thursday at 9 a.m. to have conversations with them about the product. What we've seen so far in the 10 months that we have been out there trying to build roads and get all the infrastructure in and see if we can't come up with a better plan for a path forward. The project is basically an eyesore. It's not receiving the attention it needs to receive from the site contractor or the builder, and we're hoping to change that with this meeting on Thursday. Silverwoods mixed use plan community, they continue to construct dwelling units in phase 2A2 and phase 2B. I think these 2 phases will be wrapping up probably mid-year this year. They should be wrapping up and moving into phase 2C and phase 2D. The Wilkinson residential subdivision located at the end of Demery Drive is scheduled for preliminary site plan approval before the Planning and Zoning Commission this Thursday, January the 15th. Capital improvement projects, as mentioned in the letter, the very nice letter we received from Mr. Suak, the Eastgate Boulevard Culvert project has been successfully completed. It was completed on time and on budget. There's your stats for code enforcement permits, COs, business and rental licenses. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. So how much have the fines accrued at this point in time for Shore Vista?
It was $500 for the initial fine, which was Tuesday, January the 7th, and $100 each day thereafter.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions for Ken? Thank you, Ken. Moving on to the town manager's report, Carol.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. So I'm gonna skip over the first two topics, IACP and the migration to the health, from the state plan, because we'll be talking about them shortly. I can share that I did submit in December for a grant and aid application to support our Cops and Goblins program. I'm hopeful to get the support we put in for the full amount, but we won't hear until June. So I'll keep you posted as that moves forward. Fire and Ice, the theme this year is in the first state in recognition of the 250th anniversary of Delaware. Quiet Resorts Chamber of Commerce will again utilize our park here as a host site. We will be participating and assisting. Of note would be on Friday 30th, our Ocean View Brewing Company, the local restaurant, will launch its new beer, the Historic Village of Ocean View IPA. 4-pack sales on Friday will benefit our historic village in Ocean View. There'll also be a beer garden and music and things on Saturday. The Friday event will also have live music and Taylor Smith, the brewer from Ocean View Brewery, will be there as well. Our Old Town Holiday event that was held Thanksgiving weekend on Saturday had a very good crowd, very successful, and we've gotten very good feedback. I'd like to thank Public Works for all of its hard work getting the park and getting everything set up for the event, and the police department and the CERT team for their support during the event as well. Other than that, I have different information about my outreach and engagement for the time period since the last report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Carol?
No.
No, okay, thank you. Moving on to Public Works.
Yes, Mayor. As Carol was saying, we spent a lot of time getting ready for the tree lighting. And the picture there, my kids have figured that was safe to use the Santa. They had a blast, so it was a good read on the general public class, not kids if they had fun. So, yeah, definitely a lot of work. We set up the trail lights and ensured that the lights were lit throughout the holidays. It was a bit of a headache at first, but then I think we got it under control towards the end. It was a nice sight to see for town. That being said, since our last meeting, we erected put up all the Christmas wreaths and holiday lights, and since taking them all down. It's been a while since our last meeting. But we've conducted weekly inspections throughout town, damaged street signs, clogged drains, roadside litter. Luckily, we only had like one small snow event, if you'd call it that, but we just had to saw it. We never had to put out the plows. We've been spending some time on getting things ready for future snow events, if we have them, knock on wood. But we have all the plows and everything ready, so snow blowers and salt trucks, so we should be ready to go for an event. They finally got the Verizon tower up and 2 bald eagles. I thought it was a cool picture. The guy sent it to me. I'd already found it and checking it out, so it's fitting right in. This week, Ken and I were doing some interviews for a part-time position, so we had some great candidates. Go further than that, and hopefully we'll have somebody very shortly.
Do you have any idea when the cell phone tower will be operational?
That might be a question for Ken, but they're moving right along.
The contractor's schedule indicated sometime around January 27th or 29th. However, I am told that the cell tower seems to be
I think it's operational now.
Active.
That's what I
Hmm.
thought.
Nick seems to think it's
I
operational.
drove by it and plenty bars.
Yes.
That
There
is
is a
a
difference.
sign.
There is a difference.
In that vicinity.
It's wonderful.
Any questions?
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you. The Millville Volunteer Fire Company report. Um. In December, they had 284 calls, of which 245 were EMS calls, so that's 85% of their total calls are EMS calls. In the town of Ocean View, there was 41. This compares to 44 of last year at this time, that same time. And the percentage is about the same in terms of EMS calls or total calls. Any questions on that report? We now open up the first citizens privilege for consideration on items that have been subsequently added at the time of the pre-published agenda. If you choose to speak at the first citizens privilege, you cannot speak at the second one on the same subject. Any questions, comments?
Just, I wanted
Can you come up front and state your name and address, please?
Hi, my name is Mark Wagner, and I'm just asking this question, so I don't know if it's an appropriate time to comment. I was just going to bring the community up to speed on a construction project that we're doing on the Del Dot Public Roads. And you can just inform me if this is the time to do that or if this is not.
Well, you got the floor, might as well.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for your consideration. So I'm IQ Fiber. I'm a vice president for new markets. And what we're doing is we're a fiber to the premise, fiber to the business company. And we are doing a big project in Delaware. We're doing communities all the way from South Dover to the border. So we're going to be in this area. We're trying to get this area done as much as we can in the winter for obvious reasons. So a lot of what we're going to be doing initially is on Del Dot roads. So that's we are a certified utility, so that we've got our franchise agreement with them. And so, but a lot of those roads are in this area. Millville's full of them. So you're going to see us, and what we wanted people to understand, and I've got some information, is that we want people to understand they have agency in this process, and that before we do anything, we will endeavor to meet with communities like this. We will make sure that we notify folks well in advance with door tangers that have a QR code in our number. We run our own call center. So any questions, comments, concerns, we'll know about them immediately. We are a new company to this area, so it's our brand recognition and how we treat people is extremely important because we want to have customers. So how we are perceived in Ocean View is extremely important to us. So so that's the spirit really of what I want people to understand. And I have some information about how you can get in touch with us, our construction process. Most of it everyone will be using directional bores. Everything we do is flush mounted. It's 100% fiber. So that means that we have the best in the state of the art speeds, super low latency, super low maintenance. And obviously this is all our investment, and we're not asking for anything except, the opportunity like this to let people know what's going on. We would love to include the roads in Ocean View in what we're doing, and we began a conversation with town manager Houck, and we'll continue that at a pace that's comfortable for the town. But in the meantime, we are going to be getting started. So does that make sense? Really want to.
I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what you're doing. Are you providing internet service?
Yes, sir.
And what is the name of the company?
IQ Fiber.
IQ5.
Yes, sir.
And so is this for streaming as well as emails and anything has to do with the internet?
Yeah, great question. So the only service that we provide is internet. So there's no sort of cable service. We don't provide any of that. So you can utilize our service, and most do, for streaming, for email, for anything that you're going to be doing using the internet. But this is just an internet service. We don't have any contracts. We don't charge for our equipment. We don't charge for service. make it extremely, a customer service, and you can look into us, and I hope you do. We have one of the highest ratings in our industry for customer service. We run our own customer service team. They're employees of IQ Fiber. Our Google ratings are anywhere from 4.8 to 5. So, but yes, your question is right on point. It's just internet, no traditional cable. So you will have, if you take our service, you will have, I think in this area, Comcast or MediaCom would be our competition, but it's a completely different product because this is completely fiber and higher speeds, symmetrical speeds. And I think in many ways, our pricing is better. So all of this is in here. There's more information. I don't want to take up more of the. Yeah.
I just wanted, you said no contracts, no fees, you made that statement, so I
Yeah.
just was confused about that.
Okay, so I'll, and a lot of times in this industry, when you sign up for, particularly a cable service, they'll get you to sign up for a couple of years. There'll be a teaser fee, and then you'll bake in, higher fees as you go. We don't operate that way. We're a subscription service, so it ties very much to your streaming services. Those are also on demand and monthly services, so you can turn us on and off. And a lot of people do, for instance, in communities like Ocean View, if this is seasonal for you. Yeah, so you have that optionality.
So does your fiber just go down to the main roads and then you truncate off to like communities? That how it works? You don't go into communities, do you?
Yes, sir, we do. We build, so it's, we build, I use the analogy of a tree. So we'll build the trunk and then all of the capillaries and branches. Starts with the trunk, the middle mile, and then we build as we go. But we're going to include everywhere that we can go, be it a community like Ocean View or the mini HOA communities, everywhere that we can get permission and where there's, where we can come to an agreement, we're going to go. We would like to be everywhere, but there are many conversations to be had because in this area, there are a lot of folks that are in control of the right of ways. Were we to do something with Ocean View, for instance, whatever agreement you guys would need, we would do. We would work with Department of Public Works before anything happened. We would make sure that we had a plan. We work at the pace of the community, again, wanting to make the best impression that we can. We partner with our communities. This is another part of the good news is that we are building a brand, which means that there's a huge marketing component. So I heard a couple of interesting things here, cops, goblins, whatever. If it's important to the town, it would be important to us, and we'd be looking for opportunities to sponsor and work to grow our brand along with in a positive way with the town. So we do a lot of that. We do a lot of events. We do, and we have a lot of fun with building a brand that we're excited about. But again,
so you would have to meet, there's a lot of HOAs in Ocean View.
yeah, yes,
So you would have to meet individually to get permission
Yes.
to go into this.
Well, it depends because
No.
we own our streets.
We-
Millville's different. They don't have any infrastructure, so that would be a different conversation. But
Okay.
yeah.
Have you already spoken to town manager, how it up is?
we've had conversations, but
Information basically.
yeah,
to
just
share.
So, when you get into town or when you know that you're gonna be here.
Mhm.
In the incorporated section of Ocean View, be that on Route 26, Central Avenue, Beaver Dam Road. Prior to going into the communities, you're gonna need to reach out to my office.
yes, sir.
My office handles licensing, permitting, those types of things.
Yes, sir. I promise we will not go anywhere prior to getting all of this stuff and agree. And Town Manager Hoke has been very upfront with us. She's very, very busy, and we understand that the timing wasn't right, but I think that we will continue this conversation when it's appropriate. But in the meantime, I really appreciate the opportunity to let you, because you're going to see us out here. So I really want people to understand.
If one statement also kind of follow up with Ken.
Yes, sir.
If you anticipate any road closures associated with the work, if you can let go through Ken's office so that we can be notified with the police department. We also notify the fire department as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, obviously we would have as many meetings as needed with Department of Public Works to figure all of these details out. So again, you got any more questions? I have some information I can leave.
My card's in the back. I'm the planning director.
Yeah.
Grab one on the way out.
I'm gonna leave you one here. And then I've got cards in here. My job is to make sure that this goes smoothly, so please don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate your presentation. Uh, moving on to new business. As mentioned, we are moving forward, two items. The first is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the report. The request for support of path forward based on the International Association of Chiefs of Police. So,
Yes, thank you. Mayor and council, as you know, for some time, council members, the police department administration, town property owners and staff have raised concern and discussed the fact that the town of Ocean View Police Department responds to calls for service outside the town limits. This includes jurisdictions with police departments as well as unincorporated Sussex County and the incorporated neighboring town of Millville. To fully understand and be in a position to properly respond to the concerns raised, finally, the town hired the International Association of Chiefs of Police to conduct an analysis. At 2:00 today, we had a presentation of the final report to mayor and council here today. So I'm not going to expand on all of that. I'm going to skip through some of my report, but it's here for record anyway. So for full awareness, the current Ocean View Police Department protocol, in addition to being dispatched by DSP, Delaware State Police, is to respond outside of jurisdiction without being dispatched to DSP to render assistance to prevent injury or death, or if other notable incidents emerge, also allowing for some officer discretion. So I have here in my report, I'd like to just kind of review some of the general findings. I'm not going to go over all of the bullets, but they're available since we just had the workshop. So from the general findings, we know that calls for service are dispatched to the Ocean View Police Department and other police departments as needed by DSP, an agency of the state of Delaware. As such, and absent the dispatch by DSP, with the exception of rendering assistance, as I mentioned earlier, Ocean View and other local police departments would more than likely not be out of their jurisdiction handling these calls for service and assuming the risks they may represent. The reviewers from IACP confirmed in conversation with town officials that without the assistance of the locals, the DSP would not be able to fulfill all of its calls for service in Sussex County. And this situation is not unique to Delaware. It was confirmed that our neighboring and growing town of Millville does not participate or have responsibility for actual operations related to the DSP dispatching calls for service into its area of coverage. Further, as advised by the IACP, and as has been said to the town itself, Millville has taken the stance that it therefore bears no responsibility related to the calls for service, specifically in relationship to the response by neighboring police department. The town of Millville essentially functions as an unincorporated area of Sussex County in regard to police services, with the exception of its funding of 40 hours a week of overtime, voluntary sign-up work to DSP for Millville-specific coverage. We know that Sussex County continues to see increased development and population growth, as has the neighboring town of Millville. I made a request to Millville for information about what they have on the books that's been approved that hasn't been built yet, and they guided me to their website. And we know that from that I was able to determine that 1,000 more residential units are approved, but yet to be built yet. So for those reasons, tracking of calls for service, types of calls for service, locations of same by OVPD, which we do track now in detail, should continue for awareness, future action, and decision-making as necessary. I'm going to skip to the other page. Sussex County also provides annual grants to local police departments that to date have ranged from $30,000 to $45,000 a year. 45,000 would be this upcoming FY 27 per the information we've received. And that's in direct relationship to responding to out of jurisdiction calls for service. The Chief of Police Department, the Chief of Police Association, and the towns likely will need to attempt to address this, the value, because our study has shown that that the 45,000 does not seem to support the level of calls for responding outside of town. However, and of note, this is of note, the Ocean View Police Department is dispatched to calls for service out of town on an average of 360 times a year. And that's using the data from the IACP report on page 9. And that's for years 21 through 24. And it's highlighted in blue on the on that page. And that's primarily to assist Delaware State Police Troop 4. It was determined that in 2024, the OVPD was minimally dispatched to respond to calls for service in the town of Millville. This outcome aligns with our decision a few years ago, to only respond to service needs in Millville when we are specifically dispatched. It also aligns with the fact that Millville is funding some level of paid overtime shifts to the DSP as noted. We do know that all property owners of the state of Delaware pay taxes to the state in association with the operations of the Delaware State Police, and that all property owners of Sussex County pay taxes to Sussex County that in turn support the funding that the county provides to DSP for its work in unincorporated Sussex County. It also supports the grants that the local police departments receive, as noted earlier. The combined impact of funding support by property owners in towns with police departments therefore includes their support through some percentage of local town taxes, Sussex County taxes, and state taxes that help support policing activities, among other services. With that understanding, consideration of some level of reduced taxes for town properties in Sussex County that have police departments may be justified. This is something that occurs in Newcastle County, so it's not just a pie in the sky idea. Now, for some of the risk-specific highlights from the IACP. Again, I'm going to not go through every one of them. More specifically, IACP advised that state statute limits exposure to legal costs associated with any given call for service, but the local jurisdiction currently must fund the cost up to the limit, primarily via insurance coverage. However, increased risk is borne by the local for federal claims. Again, you had some extensive talk about this in the prior workshop. Of special concern, of course, would be any resulting high-value settlements and how to protect the locals from the impact if dispatched by DSP or otherwise. The State Police Mutual Aid Agreement suggests that the local police department should procure additional public liability insurance to address the matter. We take exception to this suggestion, as our property owners, again, also pay taxes that fund the Delaware State Police. Therefore, it seems reasonable when asked to assist that the state treat all outcomes of locals responding to a dispatch as it does for DSP officers. Indemnification backing like that of a DSP officer seems to be justified. A possible remedy may also be to simply update the police manual mutual aid agreement so that it requires the state to fund the increased premium for the locals to ensure they can manage a significant settlement, regardless if it's a state or federal claim. An estimate obtained from our carrier suggests doing so may not be overly burdensome, and I'll go into that a little bit in my final recommendation. There's an additional current concern that was identified, and you heard about it today in the workshop, is that the IACP recognize that calls for service outside of our jurisdiction fall into higher risk categories more often. This outcome may well be related to the more limited patrolling and community policing taking place in the unincorporated Sussex County. The suggestion is supported by the IACP report, which noted, in simple terms, it is the amount of proactive community engagement time that has the greatest impact on the police department's ability to address crime and quality of life issues in its community. OVPD is staffed to provide its officers uncommitted time for proactive community engagement. Ocean View is by using any measure to evaluate community safety, a very safe community. So great job, and we hope that we can continue in that fashion. Now to my recommendations, of which what I'm simply looking for, Mayor and Council, is for your support for the actions that I'm going to outline for the chief and I to begin to take those steps. Okay, nothing that we're going to do is going to be is going to be a done deal when you vote today. We're just looking for your support to take these actions, and then we'll be reporting back if we have success as we go forward. So short term, as noted by the IACP, we're going to review our police pursuit policy in association with call for service. And so we'll be doing that going forward. We're also going to and have started to evaluate the insurance to determine the level and cost to increase for out of jurisdiction calls, as the state statute does not clearly indemnify us. So I have did receive additional information just yesterday from the insurance, and I know that if we were to increase to $1 million, the added cost would be for a premium would be about $6,700. So it'll fall around $6,700, and I can only really speak to us because I don't know what any other local department might, like, I don't know what their experience is or if they've had any issues that would impact them, but approximately 67 to 7,000 is probably what it would be if the state were to start funding that for all of the towns because of the locals being dispatched.
What level?
I'm sorry,
Insurance?
10 million.
10 million.
We're currently at 2 million. So we're going to I also recommend that we consider our ability and possible ramifications of the IACP recommendation to limit responses to only priority responses. Again, this is something that was discussed and you asked some questions about in the workshop, but this is something that we want to take a look at, and of course we would come back before changing anything. We'd also would like to look forward to engaging with Sussex County to increase the annual grant levels in association with the high level of calls for service in the unincorporated areas. The Chief of Police Association has already started an effort, but I think the towns, with the help of the League of Local Governments and possibly Sussex County Association of Towns, should also start some efforts in that regard. We also would like to engage Sussex County in regard to reducing taxes of properties in towns with police departments. That's something we would very much like to work on. Continue with our best practices for training. Of course, you know how the high level of training and best practices that our police department adhere to, but we're going to continue with that. I'm sure you'll have no problem with that. Midterm efforts. We'd like to be in the position to clearly work with the local League of Local Governments, all represented towns and cities via the legislative committee, which I'm a member of, local representatives, state government, Sussex County, to begin the process to see if we can implement a bill or modification of the statute that will ensure matching indemnification of local police departments for both state and federal claims, verdicts and settlements that arise from our officers being dispatched by the DSP. If you are so inclined, the chief and I would be working on these various things together as appropriate. Long-term, we're gonna continue to monitor our calls for service out of jurisdiction, including town of Millville, the types of calls and the impact on the town operations and staffing needs, and address findings appropriately with mayor and council. So I know this is a lot. The report was a lot, the workshop information was a lot. And what I'm looking for again is for support, a positive vote of council to begin to taking the actions and making the efforts as noted, to manage the risk, or determine ways to mitigate the risk, for the best interest of the town of Ocean View to be served. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know it's a big topic, but it's one we've been talking about for a very long time, and I'm very happy that it's public now, because not everybody pays attention all the time. But if a very bad situation were to occur, the first thing that will occur will be people coming to us at a meeting like this and asking us, why didn't you do anything about this? So this is our first step to first acknowledge it and give anybody that cares the opportunity to be aware, and then provides us some opportunities to mitigate.
So since we're going to continue to do out of jurisdiction calls, do you think we should move on the insurance now?
The insurance, like I said, I have that information and I know how much it would cost. It would require approval to get to the 10 million. We've been advised of that. It's my intent to do that with the budget,
Okay.
FY27 budget, which we're starting right now.
Well, I think all of the recommendations that you made are making worthwhile. I think the one about changing legislation is probably a long-term reality, not a short-term or mid-term reality. But I think
I was being very
Upbeat.
positive.
but I think also what we should consider is doing more education to our residents through the coastal point. Especially this report, I think brings out a lot of things that people normally don't think about when they're thinking about policing. And even though what I'm about to recommend hasn't been successful in the past, I think we should continue to meet with the Millville Town Council and this mayor to talk about this issue and to see if we can come to some kind of understanding going forward.
Yeah, and my intent, just so you know, all the different entities will get copies of all of this. My report, the IACP report, and their presentations.
Any other questions, comments?
No, I have a comment. I had conversation with Carol. I commend her for going through all this. This is not something that's easy to do, but it's the right thing to do. It's being very proactive for something we may never need, or we may wish we had it when it does happen. And we don't look for bad things to happen, but we can't predict that. And the continued conversation with Millville is a great thing that the mayor has talked about, because they're our neighbor and they need to understand this. So any communication, continued help to support this, I'm in alignment with, because it's a great idea to do.
Okay, so I think we've got a sense of
Any other
Thank-
questions or?
I think what we need now is a motion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I yield to the young lady at the end.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, motion to support our response to the IACP report by authorizing the town manager and chief of police to move forward as explained.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on to the next item, discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the report and request for support of path forward mitigation from the state Delaware health plans, the Delaware Valley Health Trust Self-Insured Pool Plan.
Yes, will you turn them on or will they just automatically show up, our consultants?
Yeah, they have their video involved with.
Okay, so here they come. They're popping up. Thank you, thank you. Let me just get this up organized here real quick.
We just, and then we do a quick count, so I'm sure that speaker.
Could you just, please do a test of your, that your things are working? Your,
Well, you online, please, somebody say something to see if it's working.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lauren Detweiler from the Delaware
No,
Valley
it's not
Trust.
working.
they're talking, but we can't see it.
The TA's turn.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes.
I hear you, Lauren.
There we go.
I hear you.
Okay,
Okay.
plus we can hear it now.
You can hear us now?
Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. So we have joining us in case there's any questions. There's not going to be a formal presentation or anything. Steve Fallon and Lauren Detweiler from Delaware Valley Health Trust. So I'm going to go into my recommendation and then we will have the opportunity to have them answer any questions that I can't answer or Dawn can't answer. So Delaware Valley Health Trust, DVIT, as it's referred to, was originally formed in Pennsylvania 26 years ago by local government for local government. It's a nonprofit, tax-exempt, self-insured, intergovernmental risk pool that serves municipalities, school districts, counties in Pennsylvania and Delaware. It currently has 165 public entities, member groups. We would be one if we move forward, and over 25,000 member lives, including dependents, and it maintains a 95% group retention rate. As such, DVIT offers rate stabilization, member participation, and consistency to its members. DVIT does not operate as a broker. The trust maintains a strong surplus and excess profits come back to its members via annual premium relief credits or direct payments. By members, that means excess premiums could come back to the town of Ocean View if we join. As a result, I'm trying not to read everything. So Newark, Delaware is the third largest municipality in the state, and they moved to DVIT in 2015 when I was the manager there. It was the first community in Delaware to join the program after going through an extensive process with the State Insurance Commission. And it was supported, of course. So they remain today, 10 years later, a member. Delaware participation now includes Kent County, the city of Middletown, and the city of Milford, all larger communities. As a result of our lack of control and participation in decisions regarding premium rate increases experienced with the state of Delaware, as well as interest in potential savings and having a seat at the table as a trustee, we completed an evaluation of the current DVIT offerings for consideration. In doing so, we requested pricing and details related to plans that mirrored that of the state for medical, dental, vision, and vision coverage. Our findings were encouraging, and the move to DVIT was deemed to be in the best interest of our town. But before we wanted to bring it to you, we also know that we needed to engage our employees. So on December 19th and January 5th, all town employees had the opportunity and did in fact take it to participate in various orientations, ask questions, and become fully informed. The sessions went very well and we received very good feedback. Aetna is the third-party administrator of the plans offered by DVIT, and the plan design is up to each individual town or city, as noted above. We elected to replace the exact same plans offered by the state previously available to our employees. Highlights of our evaluation. It was determined that our employees would have the opportunity to maintain plans that matched exactly what they currently utilize through the state plans, but also gain additional wellness program offerings and financial incentives. To ensure awareness of how the transition might flow, Finance Director Dawn Parks and I contacted the Human Resource Manager for Milford. That's the most recent town in Delaware that made the switch from the state plan to Divot. It was reported that they too mirrored the offering of plans like that of the state, and that their transition was seamless that last July. They report high levels of satisfaction. Unless new plan selections, meaning somebody decides they want to select a different plan than what they're currently in, it would be seamless and paperless to our employees. Again, I highlight Divot's 95% retention rate with its members, which is very impressive, suggesting high levels of satisfaction, even among Delaware communities with multiple union groups, such as Newark. Wellness incentives and programs. I'm just going to mention them briefly. You've had the opportunity to read them, but there's various wellness programs and improvements with incentives providing up to $1,200 any given year for getting certain services done or completed, such as getting a mammogram or a colonoscopy, or to lose weight, participating in a weight loss program, or to join a gym, things like that. So again, for the employee and their spouse, it could be up to $1,200 a year. Divot offers a Hinge health opportunity that they rolled out last year that provides virtual physical therapy, which is actually seems very interesting. There's also the Healthcare Blue Book that allows employees to earn rewards for being a well-informed consumer with rewards that could range from anywhere from $25 to $1,500. And this has to do with selecting the proper is the wrong word, a different place to get an MRI. The price ranges are can be very extensive, and again, by participating in that, our employees could have a financial benefit. There's a robust employee assistance program. Teladoc offers access to doctors 24/7, 365 days through an app for things for general medicine, behavioral health, and dermatology. So back now to the cost of the town. The cost of the town, assuming our existing plan selections using the FY26 information for state premium rates, which is what we have right now, we expect the reduction in the savings to the town would be approximately $35,000. Okay. Divot's renewal increases have averaged 5%. You will recall in recent years, we had a state increase that was started at 17 and we budgeted for that. And then by the time we approved the budget, it was up to 28%. Of course, we had to do some scrambling, and of course, it also caused people to change their plan so that it was less costly to the employee. Once we actually were rolling everything out. So that's what we're looking to eliminate from our efforts. So my recommendation, a final justification statement would be the move to Divot has been tested. It's been found to be beneficial to other towns and their employees in Delaware and hundreds in Pennsylvania. Increased offerings and health incentives, projected savings, and the opportunity for premium return to the town all highlight the justification to make the change for the FY27 budget year and the July of 2026 renewal period. So it's therefore my recommendation that Mayor and Council support the town's migration from the State of Delaware Health Plan to the Delaware Valley Health Trust effective for July 1, 2026. The renewal and the renewal period in association with the FY27 budget.
Are there any comments, questions?
Questions for me or for the representatives? Anything?
No, then I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to support the town's migration from the State of Delaware Health Plans to the Delaware Valley Health Trust effective for the July 1, 2026 renewal period, and in association with the 2027 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Mayor and Council, I also.
Any nays?
No nay, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to recuse myself from voting. My wife is a state employee. I do receive benefit from the state plan. To avoid any perception of a conflict of interest, I'm going to recuse myself.
Thank you. Passes 4-0.
Yes. And a requirement that Divot has that we don't have is a resolution, so that's about something that you would sign. And it's just a requirement to them, not specific to ours. We don't have that requirement.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
If there's no other questions, thank you so much, Lauren and Steve, for all of your effort getting us to this point, and we'll be filling out everything that we need to, and be in touch with any questions.
Of course. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye. Okay, moving on to new business. B, discussion, consideration, and possible voting on election calendar for 2026. You have that before you. If you've had a chance to review it. I don't know, Donna, if you want to say anything about the schedule, is it any different from the previous years? Okay. Any questions, comments? I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor. Motion to approve the election calendar for 2026.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. The next item is discussion, consideration, possible voting to recommend approval of the pavement management report fiscal years. Excuse me, 2027 to 2031. And
Ordinance 243, section 4 requires that the pavement management report be updated every 5 years and funded from the annual operating budget. Wallace Montgomery LLP prepared an updated report utilizing pavement management software entitled Paver Software, as well as visual pavement condition assessment. This report is divided into two parts. First part, Appendix A of the report, contains the street inventory, network condition rating, and summary reports. The second part, Appendix B, provides a recommended future work plan. The following is a brief summary of Wallace Montgomery's condition summary and analysis of the field condition data. 1, the town's pavement network is in good condition due to the pavement preservation program that was initiated in 2009. 2, the town's backlog for paving rehabilitation projects is $2,251,206, as referenced in our 5-year work plan on page 6 of the report. This is due in part to our decision to delay paving rehabilitation projects and divert funding from the Street Repair and Replacement Trust Fund to complete drainage improvement projects, which have a positive effect on our paving network. Future work plan showing the project cost of an approach of roadway preservation and roadway rehabilitation is attached in Appendix B. The dollar cost in the table is indicative of current year dollars. The FY 2026 payment management report is attached for your review and approval. Nicholas Nussbaum from Wallace Montgomery, who worked on the payment management report, and myself are available to answer any questions here this afternoon. Staff recommends that the FY 26 payment management report dated October 25th be approved.
okay, thank you. Any questions for Ken? I have a question. I mean, the cost is over, what is it, a 10-year period or 5-year period? What will be the impact on taxes for this coming
tax, fiscal year 27 tax that we're gonna be looking at.
Town manager.
Yeah, so, one of the things that we talked about, last year and when we did our financial, if you remember our financial analysis and forecasting, was that, we may be getting to the point where we may need to borrow. And, February 24th will be a workshop, if you're so inclined, so that we can have that first conversation. Okay, it's not 100% aligned just with this, but we do, Dawn and I have had that initial conversations with PFM, who did our financial forecasting. And, of course, the idea is that our existing trust funds would fund the repayment. So, too premature to say too much now, but, we're not planning on putting $2 million into the FY 27 budget.
Okay.
So it's not gonna impact the cost.
Good.
Okay?
The budget for proposed budget for FY 2027 is $224,000.
And that may
Paid
change,
for by street repair.
and that may
trust fund.
change as a result of increased transfer tax from the properties that will be coming online. You know? That may be impacted by
You mean our
increase,
revenues?
our revenues, by the increase in what did I say?
Transfer.
An increase in transfer tax from the properties that will be coming online in those two communities.
That there may be more money available to.
Yes, our revenues from transfer taxes are trending up. We just submitted our look ahead for the FY 27 and what we anticipate bringing in for next year.
Yeah, and tomorrow we start budget hearings with the department, so, and Ken has been, working with us so that we could kind of figure out with the PFM workshop that will come up. You know, what would we want to fund if we were to do this, if we were to borrow? So, very, very premature, but bringing everything together, just starting the budget process. But no intention of trying to fund this pavement management $2 million price tag in the budget.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, then I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, motion to approve the pavement management report for fiscal years 2027 to 2031.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So passes. Can I hear aye down there?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So passes 5-0. Discussion, consideration, and possible voting to recommend approval of funding for design of the Bursars Nature Center amenities.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A little background on this project. The initiative to preserve this parcel of land located at the intersection of Muddy Neck Road and Double Bridges Road began in August 2022 with the approval to purchase the parcel. To date, the purchase of the parcel, development and design of the Nature Center and Trail have been funded completely by various grants that were pursued and acquired by the town manager and the planning director, with the exception of $5,000. The total amount of grants received to date for this project was $1,689,102. To complete the design of the bathrooms and the outdoor education center, as well as the pavilion, the town will need to pay for this design of the amenities should we not be able to acquire any additional grant funding. The design fee for our consultant engineer, Wallace Montgomery, is $75,980.24. Construction of the major portion of the Bursars Nature Trail is scheduled to commence in September 2026 and is funded by the Delaware Department of Transportation's Transportation Alternatives Program. Funding for this design initiative, funding is available from our balance of our emerging projects funds totaling $37,550, unassigned fund balance, and that's if our FY 2026 revenues can't cover it, in the amount of $38,430.24. We fully expect to be in a position to fund this amount from the FY 26 revenues as we are trending ahead of our budget revenues due to interest income and permits as referenced in the financial report. If that were not the case, the unassigned fund balance can fund this need. Staff recommendation is that mayor and council approve the additional funding of $75,980.24 necessary to complete the design for the Versants Nation Center in Fred.
Thank you. Any questions again?
No.
No.
But we're still looking at getting more grants.
Yes, we're still, town manager is running down some grants on her end. I believe I've exhausted all the grant opportunities on my end for this initiative.
Two options are bond bill and an ORPT. We've been successful with both. I expect that we may be able to get them. But, you know, again, we have gotten 3 already, ORPT for this project. You know, other things. So we're definitely gonna go for that, but we do feel very confident that our, because of our revenues coming in over anticipation, we may be able to cover it that way, but we're still putting in for those amounts as well. For this and other things. Right.
There are no further discussion. I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the additional funding of $75,980.24 necessary to complete the design for the Versants Nature Center and Trail.
Wait a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation for the purchase of 2 replacement police interceptor vehicles.
Yeah, yes, in early December, 2 of our police vehicles were involved in a collision, resulting in the determination that there were both a total loss. The need for the replacement vehicles resulted in our locating 2 police interceptor utility vehicles that were then available for purchase from 911 Rapid Response Emergency and commercial vehicles. This company prices the vehicles it orders from Chapman Ford of Horsham, PA, under the state of Delaware pricing, and typically maintains access to an inventory of available vehicles after the state of Delaware contracted vendors. 911 Rapid Response Emergency is actually the upfitter per the Ocean View Police Department's advisement. Given that Winter Ford, the FY 26 state contracted vendor, did not have any vehicles available, and the pricing from 911 Rapid Response was competitive with the most recent state contract, I made the decision to move forward with the purchase under the emergency purchase provision, while also making council aware of my doing so on December 16th. Under this provision, I'm required to bring the full purchase recommendation to the council for a final vote at its next regular meeting, in this case, today. So the 2 vehicles are 2026 police interceptor utility vehicles, both black, 1 marked and 1 unmarked, as noted in my recommendation. Funding, and I'm going to change this because we got some good information yesterday, so I'm going to bear with me. The funds are available to cover the cost of the 2 vehicles from the following sources: $63,141 of insurance reimbursement for upfit, $44,425 from insurance for actual cash value for the vehicles, and then $48,699.68 from unassigned fund balance. And again, that update is hot off the press from the insurance. So therefore, my recommendation is that the mayor and council acknowledge the town manager's decision to place an emergency purchase order of 2 replacement vehicles that were determined to be a total loss, and further authorize the purchase of 2 2026 police interceptor utility vehicles as described herein from 911 Rapid Response Emergency and commercial vehicles at the total cost of $156,265.63. including 107, 566 from insurance and 48, 699, 68 from unassigned fund balance. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? No. Then I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Nope, go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, motion to approve the town manager's decision to place an emergency purchase order of 2 replacement vehicles that were determined to be a total loss, and further authorize the purchase of 2 2026 police interceptor utility vehicles as described herein from 911 rapid response emergency and commercial vehicles at the total cost of $156,265.63.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Last item, discussion, consideration, and possible voting on council recommendation items for the 27 budget.
So, as you heard, we're starting the budget, so this is the meeting typically every year where we come and we ask for initial guidance in preparing the annual budget. And again, initial guidance, not that anything can't be changed later, as we, have our numbers and everything, plugged in. But, initial guidance, so we know, a starting point. So, I'm gonna go through the list and I won't read it all. But regarding revenue, we're asking if you, does council support the continuance of offering a discount for early payment? And if so, at what percentage? Currently, we are doing a 1% discount. And that's if paid in full by July 31st. Do you want us to assume that again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Transfer tax, does council support continuing with the operating budget, having no reliance on transfer tax for FY 27? Again, our transfer tax since, oh gosh, I don't know if I have the year in my head, but anyway, for many years now, our transfer taxes go into our street replacement trust fund, our capital replacement trust fund, and yes, that's it. So, that's currently what we're doing. That's what we want to continue to do. And do you support that?
Yes.
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 Okay, regarding expenses, we had in here, bless you. We had in here information about the health benefits, but I think it's not really pertinent for me to do that, given the fact that we're gonna move to Delaware Valley Health Trust. So we will assume, and what you see in the budget will be the true numbers that with the new situation, okay? So no sense to go over that one. Wage increases, does the council support the continuation of using the CPIU Mid-Atlantic rate as the basis for the cost of living adjustments to salary ranges in the initial FY 27 draft for all but the Ocean View Police Department? As you will recall, the FY 27 budget will implement the approved and new Ocean View Police Department salary scale.
I bring this up every year. And I just find it difficult to believe that it costs more to live here than it costs more to live in Washington, DC. The CPI for Washington, DC is 2.5 this year so far. CPI for here is what, 2.7?
Well, yeah, we just got
It-
CPIU today or yesterday,
Yeah.
it's at 3.9, which is actually higher than we did. And what is the all cities? 2.7. So, again, Dawn and I don't even know that we would put it in the budget at 3.9. We don't have the numbers. I haven't had a roll up of numbers to see where we stand. But that has been where we have started. So we can do that, or we can do something else. You could tell us that now, if you so desire. The CPIU is what's used for the COLA for council. That's in the code. You don't want to mess with that. So we would do that, but, yeah, we're just looking for a starting point. It can be this, with the understanding that Dawn and I, will be recommending what we think we can do.
Well, I don't want to say yes to a number that could end up being 3.9. I really don't think that it's more expensive to live here than it is in Washington DC or Philadelphia.
So with, is there a CPIU or so that you're more in favor of us using?
Well, we can't use the one for DC because it doesn't apply to us. And what is this one that you say came out at 3.0?
That's the CPIU, the one that we have always used, Mid-Atlantic.
Well, what's 3.9?
The new number.
That's the number that came out today.
Oh,
Can I
Go ahead.
clarify?
Yeah,
yeah.
We're not asking for what the COLA will be given to the employees. What this is asking for, we do our salary ranges, is can we continue to use the CPIU for our salary ranges? We do an increase to the salary range every year. It was determined when the compensation study was done back
we have
prior
also,
to our being here. Yes,
we have
but that's
also
not
used that number,
for,
in fairness.
yes, for COLA. But for our ranges, for the minimum, midpoint, and maximum, can we continue to use the CPIU Mid-Atlantic?
Well, I gave my opinion. I would rather see it at 3.0 rather than possible 3.9, but I'll leave it up to the rest of the council.
What did you say? What number?
3.0.
And you're speaking specifically for increases for salary, for COLA, cost of living?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily for the salary ranges where our scale.
That, they're two different things, but we can take this information and this is helpful information for us to know, how to start. So what I think I'm hearing is, don't go more than 3 for increases for COLA, cost of living increases. And then I'm not sure I know whether or not you're okay with what Dawn just explained about just because the ranges change doesn't necessarily mean that it changes for all the employees.
Mhm.
Okay, it just keeps us up to date.
But what did we do last year?
Last year, we stuck to CPIU, and last year, CPIU was used for the COLA as well.
And that was,
2.9? Was it?
No, I can't
No?
remember off the top of
I
my
think
head.
it was 3.
It was,
I think it was higher than 2.
So we're not even increasing it at all. It's 3.
Well, yeah, it would be,
When
Well, that
you
would
said
be-
it was 3.
well, I mean, every year, if we increase it by 3, that's an increase over the past year.
Right, but you said today's CPIU was 3.9, correct?
Yes,
And the mayor said he'd like to keep it at 3.
yes.
Last year it was,
I think it was 3.
yeah, okay.
She's looking in her, she'll probably find it. I have a new phone and I can't even look anything up on it because I'm not into the TAN system again yet. But yeah, I think I understand what you want. I think it's more related to the COLA. And again, that's why I said Dawn and I are not committing to 3.9 even coming to you. But if you want COLA not to be over 3, that's fine. That's fine for you to tell us that at this time. And that's helpful.
Well,
And we're gonna have opportunity to have conversations. You're gonna have a budget workshop after we have the first, roll up and everything. And we'll have opportunity to talk about.
Can we table this for that workshop?
Well, we
don't
could
think-
table this item, but in February, we have to turn over the budget.
Yep.
So not so much, at least to have, but I think I have enough guidance right now to let's keep the the ranges, for what Dawn has mentioned, and then, for COLA, let's plug in a 3 to start with.
Mhm.
If everybody on council wants to tell us that that's where they want to be.
I can support that.
I'm in alignment with that.
Okay, me too. So COLA is gonna be that. For the first roll up. Unless Dawn and I decide that's impossible.
But there'll be another discussion.
Absolutely, you're gonna have so many discussions. Okay, so annual payout buyback of sick medical leave, that's something we started a couple years ago. And it is to reduce the town's, sick time that is on the books that we may or may not have to pay out. So does the council continue to support the inclusion of sick buyback in the initial FY 27 budget?
I do.
I do.
It only gets more expensive.
Correct. I'm in alignment.
And that is why we started it.
Mhm.
Okay, does that sound like everybody? Okay. Okay, so then other for community events, lined up, all of our, so far planned events for the coming year, nothing really, different. I can share that I still have just a little bit of money in for a spring event, although I don't know that I'd be able to pull something off, with the workload right now. And then I am just starting my effort, in regards to a bocce league. I've had some interest and some, information shared from, what's it called in Maryland, Pines. Ocean Pines, I can think of the name. Ocean Pines reached out, they have an extensive league with 100 people. Every season, and sounds really interesting, and I think we can learn from them. If I can get someone to help us with it, which I have a contact that I think we might be able to pull off some, bocce leagues. So I might need some money for this.
Can I ask, the cops and goblins, if we, don't get the grant aid,
Yes,
yeah, we're gonna do another event,
yeah, so here's the rub. We gotta put it in the budget.
Mhm.
Okay? Because I'm not gonna know till June. Okay, and our budget gets approved in April. But I guess we're gonna have to make a decision. We did that, last one in April, I think. The golf tournament,
Golf tournament?
because there was,
and that's, or was it March? Yeah. I know there's a time where they have a spot where, free time because
Yeah,
they're
there's-
busy.
I know that right now the FOP Lodge and the VFW are doing a golf tournament, not to fund the Cops and Goblins program, but to fund other initiatives. And I can tell you
That would be tough
that
then.
it's going to be very difficult to get something in. If we do anything now, because Bear Trap, the golf course, has got to have the time available.
Well, of course, we have the funding from last year.
We have a little over 5,000 left, and then
That we would put towards this year.
Mhm.
So I guess I could put this down to 20.
it costs over 25
I'm-
this year.
I mean, because we have 24 in here. So, we could maybe reduce that by a little. With the 5,000 that's remaining.
We wouldn't reduce the expense though, we would just, it would be part of the revenue. The expense is still gonna be 25,000.
Oh,
We just have the revenue to cover it,
Well-
and I already have that on the revenue side taken care of.
that we have to budget for the revenue.
We have to, yes, that we would budget for the.
And this is the total of what we're asking. Of what we're suggesting we're gonna put
The
in.
expense of, we say that we'll spend 24,000, around 24,000 on it. On the revenue side, the police department, we've got to determine what the police department's gonna have to come up with. Where you already have 5,000 remaining from last year's golf tournament. how much more they're gonna have to come up with to help cover.
Yeah,
it.
well, in my mind, we always give this because we want to give the council a total of what we're looking at to spend, and of course, that has a correlation to expenses. So
So I'm good with that.
you're good with that? And I'm hopeful, the grant aid is something that does support programs like this. And I know, Delaware City gets 30-something every year and to do a Delaware City Day and fireworks and the work, so. I think that this should be compelling because of the extensive coordination with all the different police departments and the community engagement. There's nobody really doing that where multiple police departments are invited and participate, and for over 10 years now. So I think it's, I think I feel hopeful. And once you get into that, it typically is easier to keep getting it.
Yeah.
So we were in on time and hopeful. Okay, so I think we have everything. The only other thing, the last thing is contingency. You'll recall a few years ago, we now take our capital improvements plan and we figure out what the total estimated costs are, and we take 10% of that and put it aside for contingency. It doesn't mean we get to spend it without coming back. If we're gonna use if any of our projects go over, we come back and we say, hey, can we tap our contingency? We need extra funds. Haven't had to do it that much, but it's a good way to make sure we have money in the budget already in case overages occur. Still good with that?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I know that's painful, but it helps us as we begin the effort.
Okay, thank you. We now have the second citizen privilege. You have anything you want to say? Okay, if not, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, we need a motion to adjourn.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Reminder, I'm February.
Oh, my God, my.
Oh. Yeah, can you send that message?
Yeah.
So she has it.
Friendly to count on that.